What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. This is Judicial Response. We cover political news. We keep you up to date and keep you informed with everything that the government does. Now, we talk about the Biden administration a lot because, in my opinion, the Biden administration, it just steps outside the rule of law with everything that's happening on the border, with all of the student loan forgiveness, the canceling of debt, and all this other stuff, going after his political opponent, weaponizing the FBI and the CIA and all these places against the American people, right? Getting on social media, getting conservative voices shut down, and all this. It's blatantly clear to me that the Biden administration does not care about the rule of law. And this is a very bad thing, right? This is very bad news for the country because the president is also in charge of appointing judicial nominees, right, to the federal court, to appellate courts, and all these other places. And from everything we've seen with the Biden administration, and they're just not really caring about the rule of law, just going well outside the rule of law on many instances. Like I said, with canceling of student loan debt, for God's sakes, the Supreme Court said you can't do that, and he's doing it anyway. I almost covered another story talking about Joe Biden canceling even more debt. It's just getting outright insane. This dude is trying to buy votes, and he's just trampling all over the rule of law to do so. But the story we got coming up today is kind of a warning sign, if you will, about the appointees that Joe Biden is making. These people are outright activists. They're not judges, for goodness sakes. Oh, and I've got a little video clip to kind of prove my theory on this. But let's go ahead and get into the story right quick, because this is just nuts, y'all. Senate set to confirm 200th federal judge under Biden as Democrats surpass Trump's pace. As a matter of fact, this story here, they put this story out there as if it's some sort of race, right? Like, oh, we've got to beat Donald Trump in every single thing we do. But the Biden administration is absolutely flailing and flopping around and don't know what to do with themselves. Their campaign is going down in flames right now, if you will. That's why Joe Biden is getting out there trying to cancel student loan debt and trying to pander to his base constantly just to try to win back some votes. But it's not going to work, y'all. People are starting to wake up. But let's get into it. The Senate is set to confirm the 200th federal judge of President Joe Biden's tenure on Wednesday, about a month earlier than the then-President Donald Trump hit that mark, though Trump still holds the edge when it comes to the most impactful confirmations, those to the U.S. Supreme Court and the country's 13 appellate courts. The march to 200 will culminate with the confirmation of Angelina Martinez to serve as the federal district judge in Arizona. The milestone reflects the importance that Biden, a former chairman of the Senate Judiciary Committee, and Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer placed on judicial confirmations after Trump put his enormous stamp on the federal judiciary with the confirmation of 3 Supreme Court justices. Which was amazing, by the way. I'm so glad that Trump done that, because the Supreme Court is the only thing we have standing in between us, me and you, and the Biden administration, the FBI, and all these other places. The Supreme Court has been striking down left and right lawsuits from the Biden administration, just left and freaking right. And they have been standing in the way of this rogue administration. It's a figure, 200, that we can all be proud of, and shows how intensely focused we are on filling the bench with jurists that will make our democracy stronger and uphold the rule of law, Schumer said. Now, remember what I was talking about in my shadow campaign video. They're not talking about the Webster's definition of democracy. They're talking about the Democratic Party, the United States being a one-party country, essentially. The Democrats just ruling with an iron fist over everything. That's what they mean when they say, oh, we got to save democracy, right? Because everything I laid out in that shadow campaign video, which, by the way, if you haven't seen it, which it doesn't have a whole hell of a lot of views at this point, so people aren't going to watch that video for some reason. It's my most important video, so go over there and go check that out. But they don't care about actual democracy as defined in a dictionary. They just care about their own democracy and their own power and whatever the hell they want to do. They don't care about the rule of law and actual democracy. The current pace of judicial confirmations for this White House came despite Biden coming into office in 2021 with far fewer vacancies, particularly in the influential appellate court, than Trump did in 2017. It's unclear whether Biden can eclipse his predecessor's 234 judges before the year ends. You see what I mean by it seems like the corporate press is like, oh, this is a race. We got to get more judges confirmed than Trump did. It's like, what? Why are y'all acting like this? Like this is a good thing? Well, because they don't care about getting judges in there that are going to be fair. They only care about getting activists on the bench. That's all they care about. Democrats have solidly backed the president's judicial nominees, but there have been some cracks in that resolve in recent weeks. Senator Joe Manchin said he would not support nominees who don't have some bipartisan support, and the two Democrat senators from Nevada are opposing a nominee who would become the nation's first Muslim appellate court judge. They did so after some law enforcement groups came out against the nomination. The White House is plainly aware of the obstacles ahead of Democrats as they rush to surpass Trump's record on judges before Biden leaves office. It's a high watermark that remains a point of pride for the former president and senior Republicans who made it happen, including Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell. Filling dozens of judicial vacancies requires time on the Senate floor calendar, which becomes more scarce as senators in the narrowly divided chamber shift into an election year campaign mode. White House officials say they have no illusions about the challenges they face, but feel reaching 235 is possible. That doesn't please Republicans, naturally, because all of these nominees that Joe Biden is trying to put into office, they're all political activists. You go watch some of these confirmation hearings, the Senate confirmation hearings for these judges, and you'll see exactly what I mean. I took a clip from one from today that proves my point. Unfortunately, they learned from our example about prioritizing lifetime appointments, said Senator John Cornyn of Texas. Meanwhile, liberal advocacy groups are thrilled with the results so far. I just cannot rave enough about these judges, said Jake Felicini, who leads nominations work at the Alliance for Justice. It's been nothing short of transformative of the federal judiciary in terms of both excellence, but also demographic and professional diversity. Here we go with diversity again. The Democrats, the party of the KKK, love to play identity politics. They say they love minorities and all this other stuff. Well, they don't, because they're constantly introducing identity politics into the picture to try to get me and you against each other, right? Trying to get white people and minorities to hate each other, so maybe we won't look at them so badly, right? They try to come in and litigate between us, and we'll fix these problems, we'll fix all these disparities. Well, the government never comes in and fixes any freaking thing, if you ask me. So if you want to know exactly who Joe Biden is putting on the bench, who all these diverse people are, right? Check this out.
Sober and entirely a female. That phrase struck me as remarkable. Did this individual have male genitalia?
I think what I said, or at least what
that is a verbatim quote, entirely a female.
Sorry, what I meant to say was hormonally a female.
Okay, but that's not entirely. Did this individual have male genitalia?
Yes.
So you took a 6'2" serial rapist, serial child rapist with male genitalia, and he said, I'd like to be in a women's prison. And your answer was, that sounds great to me. Let me ask you something. The other women in that prison, do they have any rights?
Is that a question you're asking me?
Yes, the other women in that prison, do they have any rights?
Of course.
Do they have the right not to have a 6'2" man who is a repeat serial rapist put in as their cellmate?
Senator Cruz, I considered the facts presented to me, and I reached a decision based on what the law
I asked you a question. Do they have a right not to have a 6'2" man who is a serial rapist put in as their cellmate? Do those women have a right to that?
Every person who's incarcerated has the right to be safe in their space.
But you didn't think so. You didn't think so. And in fact, I'm going to give some quotes from your order because Senator Kennedy is right. This is not a judge's order. This is a political activist. By the way, the beginning of your order says, at birth, people are typically assigned a gender. I got to say that would astonish a lot of Americans. A lot of Americans think you go to the hospital, a baby is born, and congratulations, you have a little boy, a little girl. The assigned a gender, I know you went to Brown, but it sounds like it's in a college faculty lounge.
Okay, so judges need to be fair and balanced, right? They need to be impartial. They don't need to be partisan. Anybody who is willing to affirm a delusion, especially to a criminal, in a situation where it's a convicted serial rapist who just claims to be a woman and wants to go to prison, which that person ended up assaulting people in that women's prison, by the way. That's the whole line of questioning that Ted Cruz was going on about right here. Anyway, that these people want to affirm somebody else's delusion for some reason. That's not fair and balanced, folks. That's activist land, if you will, because if you're willing to affirm somebody's delusion, when you hear somebody say, oh, they were assigned a gender at birth, no, you're not assigned anything. You develop your gender. You develop your sex. Gender is not separate from sex, by the way. So these people are outright activists. And this is the people that are great for democracy, y'all. Yeah, they're not great for democracy. They're great for, quote unquote, the Democrats' version of democracy, not actual democracy. These people are nothing but activists, and they are outright insane, if you ask me.
The Bureau of Prison argued what I'm saying right now, that if you put this person in a female prison, there will be a risk of sexual assault to the women. And you know what you did? You said you didn't care about the women. I'm going to quote what you wrote. You wrote, quote, the Bureau of Prisons claim penological interest in protecting female prisoners from sexual violence and trauma. This interest is legitimate, that's kind of you to say, but there are no signs that petitioner is at risk of reoffending. The record is devoid of evidence of incidents of violence or assault during petitioner's incarceration when she was the perpetrator, only the victim. A theoretical risk of sexual assault by the prisoner without more cannot support the BOP's position. No evidence, theoretical. Have you dealt, in what universe is someone who is a serial repeat child rapist not at a risk of reoffending?
Senator, as I do in every case.
Okay, I know you've been told to repeat the line, I follow the law. I asked a question. In what universe is someone who is a serial repeat child rapist not at risk of reoffending?
Sir, I looked at the facts that were before me in this case. All of the evidence, including the statements of every warden who had supervised this petitioner.
You also wrote, the BOP also posits that permitting petitioner to live among women will be traumatizing and possibly dangerous to them. This concern is overblown. I have to say, if I were the father of one of those women, and you decided that my daughter's cellmate was going to be a 6'2" man who over and over and over again committed violent sexual assault, I would say the entire justice system is absurd, and it is clear on your record your political ideology matters a heck of a lot more than the rights of those women that you endangered.
For her to say that she looked at the facts at a serial rapist and concluded this concern is overblown, from a serial rapist, for God's sakes. Did she really think this? Is this a fair and balanced assessment of this situation? That a convicted serial rapist, there's no evidence whatsoever to show that they will be violent or commit that crime again. Like, what? What do you mean there's no evidence? This concern is overblown. That's outright insanity, y'all. I don't understand where this person coming from. And Ted Cruz, he can be really hyperbolic. Like, he's like the definition of hyperbole sometimes. But not in this instance, right? Like, seriously, what universe is any sane person gonna look at this situation and think it's okay, let's put a convicted serial rapist in a women's prison. A man in a woman's prison is insanity. Like, what is wrong with these people? And that's what I'm talking about. This is the type of people that Joe Biden wants to nominate because they're diverse. No, it's not because they're diverse. It's not because they're fair with their judgments or whatever. These people are activists, and they think that that's all. Trump put a bunch of activists, bunch of right-wing activists on the court, so now we got to go extremely hard left, right? But everything I've seen from what Trump has put on the circuit, no, they're not activists. They're just normal people, right? And that prioritizing black women and Hispanic women and all this other BS like you're about to see is just outright insanity, y'all. These people are freaking nuts. And once again, it blows my mind every single day. I'm sitting here reading through the news, and some of this stuff that these people say is just ludicrous. At this stage in his term, Trump had 2 Supreme Court justices and 51 appellate court justices confirmed to lifetime appointments. Biden has tapped 1 Supreme Court justice and 42 appellate court judges. Biden has more confirmations of the district judges who handle civil and criminal cases. Those nominations tend to be less hard-fought. Yeah, putting the Supreme Court Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson, who couldn't even answer what a woman is, right? Like, and a lot of left-wingers, they got out there and was like, oh, well, this is just a gotcha question, right? Like, it's a stupid question. No, it's not a stupid question. It's a very good question. And her answer told those senators every single thing they needed to know, that this person is an activist. She's not trying to be fair. She's not trying to be balanced. She is trying to get up there and promote left-wing ideology and push the court in that direction, because not answering what a woman is tells those senators that she is scared of the backlash if she says a woman is a human female with female genitalia. Yeah, they will get excised from their society, right? No, I'm sorry. That has been the facts in this country, in the world, since mammalian evolution began, for God's sakes. There are no other, there's no pigs that are a Z or a Zer or whatever. There's no elephants that aren't male or female. I'm sorry. That's not how biology works. And these people are trying to just jump over biology and try to claim that, oh, well, it's whatever they feel that day. That's not balanced. That's not fair. That's not being what a judge is supposed to be. Judges are supposed to look at facts and evidence and base a judgment upon that. They're not supposed to look at somebody's feelings. Just blows my freaking mind, y'all. Biden has emphasized adding more female and minority judges to the federal bench on that front. 127 of the 200 judges confirmed to the bench are women. Identity politics, y'all. 58 are black and 36 are Hispanic, according to Schumer's office. And 35 judges are Asian American, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islanders, more than any other administration, according to the White House. See, they're trying to use this identity politics as a tally for some sort of achievement or something like that. But good for you. Good, you put a shit ton of women on the circuit. Who cares? Right? You pick the best person for the freaking job. That's what you do. You don't pick somebody because of their immutable characteristics. You don't pick somebody because they're black or they're Hispanic or because their eyes are slanted or any other characteristic about their physical appearance whatsoever. That makes absolutely no sense and should be left completely out of being a judge, for God's sakes. Once again, proving my point that Joe Biden is a activist. He's not a president. He's not in charge of the executive branch. He's an authoritarian administrator. That's what he does for a living. And you and me, we're paying his freaking salary. And that offends me, to be honest with you. I wonder if there's some sort of lawsuit I can bring against Joe Biden for being offensive to me. I don't know if he's offensive to you guys. Let me know down in the comments section. In the appellate courts, 30 of the 42 circuit judges confirmed under Biden are women. according to the White House. 13 black women have been chosen as circuit judges, more than all previous administrations combined. Whoop-de-doo. Is that supposed to be some sort of attaboy or something like that? Or are we supposed to congratulate Joe Biden for that? I mean, it seems like to me he's being very racist with this and just choosing these people because they're black. I think that's a violation of the Civil Rights Act. Under Biden, more Hispanic judges have been confirmed to the appellate courts than any other administration. Yeah. As abortion access remains a vital priority for the Biden administration, why? Why would somebody that is in charge of the executive branch of the United States be so worried about a cultural issue? Answer that down in the comment section, why don't you? And a key argument for the president's re-election bid. The White House also points to several judges with backgrounds on the issue. They include now First Circuit Judge Julie Reichelman, who argued on behalf of the abortion clinic in Dobbs v. Jackson. The 2022 ruling that dismantled Roe v. Wade, and Nicole Berner, a former attorney at Planned Parenthood, who now serves on the 4th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals. Conservatives say it's fine to have diversity, but it shouldn't be the focus, right? We don't care about diversity. If the country's diverse, then everything else is going to freaking be diverse. Like, who gives a damn if it's diverse or not? It's all a gigantic virtue signal, if you ask me. I think the right standard isn't trying to check boxes with nominees, but try to find the men and women who are going to be faithful to the Constitution and rule of law, said Carrie Severino, president of JCN, a conservative group that worked to boost support for Trump's nominees. Yeah. These people are nuts. The Biden administration is nuts. Let me know what you think, if you think that the Biden administration is nuts, down in the comment section. And that's all I got for this one, y'all. But I want y'all to let me know what y'all think about all this down in the comment section. And y'all try to have a good day and stay legitical. Peace.